Hi there, thanks for joining me today. If you're new here, welcome to A Bit of My Day. I'm Catherine. I am working on a journal that I'm making. Usually I make junk journals from refurbishing older books. I say older because it can be antique. I really love antique, that's my favorite, but vintage is also good because you can get some cool vintage books. So, but once in a while I will make a book. In this case, I'm making one. And I finished the cover off camera last week. And I can't even blame it on too many appointments. I had a couple, but I didn't have too many. I think it was just, again, one of those weeks where I was doing better by working a little bit and resting and working and resting. So, but I'll walk you through it. Let's come down a little bit. And I apologize for the shadows, but it's dark out there. It's actually been trying to snow slush out of the air. I hope that makes sense in my descriptive weather terms. It started raining and then the temperature dropped, so it was like big blops of slush coming down out of the air, out of the sky. Hold on, she's chewing on something. What a good baby. She's chewing on a toy. Anyhow, so we're working on the Faery Queen. I was able to find this book in a cached, you know how Google will let you look in cached versions of links? And so at one point they had this book for sale on Abe Books, and it was printed in 1857. So, which I'm relieved about. I don't like working with scans. It makes me nervous, but I had a feeling that I only have the cover. I don't have the spine of the book. I don't even have the text block, but I loved the cover. And I loved the outside of it, and I loved the papers. So this actually is my recreation using the scans and working with ink and gluing it carefully with gel medium, acrylic gel medium. And just cutting the edges and sandpaper. A sandpaper block is your best friend for trying to make new things look old. So I have created this from a scan of the original cover that I have, and I'm in love. And so I have a feeling the Faery Queen will show up once in a while as I make new versions of her. But this version, I just think she's delightful. She looks like a gentle person, fairy who would live in the forest amongst the creatures. And I'm just thrilled. And so I played with this frame. You can see, I don't know if it's showing up on the camera, but I put the frame part through my embosser. Get out of there. That's not for you. My friend dropped off a whole bunch of scrapbooking supplies, and my grandchildren are going to go nuts. I was going to go through it, and I went through most of it, and it is she's cleaning house, and it's mostly from when she was scrapbooking when her little girl was little. So it's quite, the paper is childlike, and goodness knows I have enough grandchildren that they're going to go nuts doing arts and crafts with these papers and stamps and things. Anyhow, off topic, I embossed the frame that we picked out together, and then I did do just a little bit freehand with my Krylon gold leafing pen, and just I went around the edges and then just did some little flecks here and there on her frame. I don't know, I guess I just did a little artistic playing in having some of her coming out of the frame and some of her going behind the frame. And I just loved how that turned out. And then this felt a little bit like it was needing something, and I just thought maybe this is her little version of a Tinkerbell. You know, maybe she's got a little butterfly who is a favorite little companion who follows her about as she does her work in the forest and amongst her little fairy folk, and that she's one of those diligent queens who is not afraid to roll up her sleeves and get to work alongside the people that she watches over. That's what I'm imagining anyhow. So I still am going to do a spray seal on top. I glued her all down with 3-in-1. But I think rather than doing a liquid sealant, I think I'm just simply going to do just a spray sealant over her. I may still put something on the back here, maybe a couple more little butterflies just flitting about, or maybe a little woodland creature. Not sure yet. So that's why I haven't done the sealant yet. And the sealant, I can cover this fabric here, and it certainly won't hurt the sewing that I've done. So I'm not worried about the order that I've done that work in. Now, what I'm going to do now is, because I want her to be fat and roomy in the way Wonderfully Good was fat and roomy, I've decided, even though I usually go for more signatures, I'm going to go for less this time. So she's got a 1 3/4 inch spine. So normally, for a regular journal, that would call for 7 signatures. But I'm going to do 5 in this case. First of all, so that they're spread a little further apart. And secondly, I want to be able to use some heavier cardstocky kind of paper in her. And I am still trying to make up my mind whether I'm going to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch or whether I'm going to make her a refillable journal. I'm not sure. She's so beautiful. I almost feel like she deserves to be refillable so that the new owner can refill her when it's all full. Although they may fill her up so beautifully that they just want to leave her be. I'm not sure. There were a lot, I would dare say most of the comments that were left on the last video said, oh, absolutely, please keep her dress coming down out from under the frame, and I did. Now, I still have, of course, some of her dress left because she's tall. She's pretty. And I think maybe I'll find a way. I think I could get 2 whale tail tabs out of her dress, and that way it will get to go back in. And there was a little bit of the William Morris paper that I used behind in the background of the frame left over, so we'll use that for something as well. And there's a tiny little bit of the fabric left, so it will get, who knows, it could get ruffled and sticking out the side, or a tab and sticking out the side. Not sure yet. We'll wait and see what the inspiration is. But in the meantime, I need anchor pages. I like that term. I don't know whether Nancy invented it or whether that's a term. But it's certainly something I always do, even if I switch around later on. When I'm starting to create the signatures for the journals that I make, I always decide how many signatures I'm going to make, and then I create that many, what I call the anchor folios for those signatures. And I put my little tab on them, and then I go from there, and that way I know I can start filling them. And I want this, so this is 11, so I need it to be 5.5. I want it to be, I guess I could open this up and just go to 5.5. I seldom open this up. I find when I try and fold this paper in half, because it has a texture to it, sometimes it doesn't fold very nicely. 5.5. Look at that. We'll all be. I miss having a line down at the bottom to aim for. I am notorious for skipping over, and even though the grooves are there so that you can have straight lines or straight edges, I'm notorious for my bone folder to jump over 5.5. Maybe I'll get them all done and then I'll fold them all. And that way I will have, then I can go from there deciding what pages are going to go in. I do have a Flower Fairies book, so how could I not use Flower Fairies book to go in? It's got to have some Beatrix Potter in it. It's got to have some pretty colored paper in it, so I need to, pardon me, it needs some sort of nature paper. I do have some paper that has grass and leaves woven right into the fibers of the paper, and I think that would be beautiful in a Faery Queen kind of, at least the kind of journal I'm envisioning for this one. There we go. Boy, I'm making a racket today. And again, I want the pages sticking out, and I want them all different wacky sizes. I don't mind if these anchor pages are bigger than the covers. I think that is something I will do. 1, 2, 3, so 4, 5. I did get the right amount. Yes. I hope you're all doing well. I'm doing well. Although I get tired, at least now it's nice to know there's a reason why I'm tired, and I'm not. All these years I've been thinking, why am I being such a slug? And now I know that there's a reason why I'm being a slug. It's one of the symptoms of what I live with. So that's, at least now I have something to blame it on. Now, this is thick. I'm not sure how well it will tear. Let's see the size if I use it in... If I use it in there. Okay, I don't want it that big. I think what we're going to use is my my handy dandy decal edged cutter. I'm a copycat. I'm a great big copycat. I'll admit it now. Nancy got one and I fell in love and I ordered one right away. Hold on. It's a decal edged cutter from Tim Holtz, or if you're Canadian, Tim Hortons. Those of us who can't get that right. So I'm just going to see if it'll go through two thicknesses. See, I should have held that down better. All right, so it almost didn't like it, but that's not bad. I'll do one and use it. I use it as the template for the other ones. So there. This part can be a little tricky. There we go. See, I didn't get that perfect. Let's see if I need to take more off. No, that'll be all right. Now, how? Boy, I really want it. I really want a torn edge. Let's see if we can tear this. It just looks so nice when it's a natural torn edge. Yeah, that's nice. It doesn't have to be perfect. The joy of the natural torn edge. And then let's see. Boy, I almost wish I had just done a natural torn edge for the upper and lower. I wonder if I still can. Maybe I'll need to use this for something else. And use this as my oh, I better move her. I know I'm gonna hurt her otherwise. Although you're seeing this on a Sunday, or pardon me, on a yeah, you're seeing it on a Sunday. I'm recording it on a Saturday. So it was my Kirby Church book sale, but I'm not ready to go to it yet. It's on 2 levels, and I'm not good on stairs yet. So not without a cane, and I'm not at the point yet. I know I need to surrender that there are going to be days or even weeks where I might need a cane if I'm having a bad day or a bad week. And I'm just not there yet. I'm only 64. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay. Boy, I wish I could. I'd hate to waste a piece of paper. I mean, it wouldn't get wasted. I'd use it for something else. But it would be nice to have this hand torn. Come on, you. Because it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just going to be in our little crazy book. I find that the hand tearing, though, is hard. It dries out my fingertips. There. That looks nice. Yeah, I gotta do it. And then with the inking, I loved the pink and the green inking in Wonderfully Good, and I'm going to repeat that. Oh, this is going to work out. It'll be a little bit smaller, but I'll either put it at the front or at the back, and that way the center signature number 3, I like it to be the widest so that it sort of waterfalls out and then goes back in again. So that's not bad. All right, let's do it again. So if I tear you, and then I tear you, then I don't have to hold you there. I wonder if I can use these for anything. Of course you can. It's junk journals, right? You can use those for something. There we go. I must admit this week, confess, I've been going crazy watching reruns of The Crown. I follow the news, of course, although I wouldn't call myself a monarchist. I've never referred to Queen Elizabeth as my queen sort of thing, because there are people who are in Canada, are very much monarchists. I certainly wouldn't have any, I wouldn't mind if we left the Commonwealth. I mean, we have everything separate anyways. We have our own government. The only way for me as a Canadian affects me is that the royalty is on our money and on our stamps. And every once in a while at functions we have to say, well, up until now, God Save the Queen my whole life, and now it's God Save the King. I haven't been to anything yet where I've had to sing God Save the King, so there's something that will be new to me when that time, if that time ever comes. But I heard something interesting in the news. I still find it interesting to sort of follow along. I don't think it bodes well for our poor new king. I feel badly for him being diagnosed recently with cancer of the pancreas, which can be a very dangerous cancer to have, and I would dare say, especially given his age and that he already has cancer in his prostate, and whether they certainly haven't said, but is it in his pancreas because of his prostate? Anyhow, they have said England, UK, has announced that they will not be removed. They will be adding King Charles to their stamps and money, etc. But they will not be taking Elizabeth's away, certainly off the money, until it is worn out and needs replacing. So she's not going to disappear that quickly, because I wanted to run out and get a whole bunch of stamps with her on them, because I do think that she aged very nicely, and I think she looked very sweet. She reminded me very much of her mother. Look at all these. I may put them aside for the time being. You just never know. Maybe belly bands, or use them underneath and make things. I don't know. We'll see. I've got a box of scraps that I keep to the side of my blue box. So we'll do that anyhow. So I suppose that's what will happen. I suppose that's what will happen for us as well in Canada. Let's start with Acorn, in that we will slowly, as the money with Queen Elizabeth on it starts wearing out, it will be replaced with money with King Charles on it. Now, stamps, I think that's a different thing, because you go through stamps faster because they get used once, whereas like our dollar bills last forever. We have those new fancy, they're very irritating, plasticky kind of dollar bills. So they last forever. You can't tear them. And you can't fold them. Oh, they're so irritating. I really miss paper money. I get it, though, because these plasticky ones, they last forever. But he's so old. I mean, that's not nice to say, but it's the truth. He's not going to be king for the amount of time that his mother or his son will be. When William takes the throne, I dare say it will be within 10 years. That wouldn't surprise me in the least. 5 years, we will have King William. And so we'll be switching it all over again. But at least that, William will be young enough. He'll be in his 40s. If he can keep his health, he could be king for a good 40 years. Now, I'll be pushing up daisies, so whether I will ever live to see William crowned king, I sure hope so. I'd like to, although he's not my favorite person these days. I must say I am a Harry fan, and I wasn't always a Harry fan, but I am very much a Harry fan. Yeah, so and I know there are many Harry and Team Megan and Team Kate. So, to each his own. I like all of them. I'm sad if there has been a rift between those brothers. They are certainly all each other has without their mum. Their sweet mother. Boy, she would have been a beautiful queen. That was, that's one of those life events that you always remember where you were when it happened. That and when Elvis died. For me. Jeepers. Now, I won't necessarily ink every single page that will be going into the Faery Queen, but these anchor pages, yes, they're hand-torn and inked. I'll do one green one and then we'll call it a day. And then I guess while I sit and have a 7-Up, I'll try and decide whether I'm going to sew the signatures in or whether I'm going to make her refillable. Oh, I think I'm going to sew them in. I think she's going to be so beautiful. I don't think people are going to want her to be refillable. I think they're going to want to make her into a beautiful keepsake journal. And she's definitely, you can't be a fairy queen. You can't be a queen and not have lace. So she's going to need lace and pretty fabrics. My goodness, I love how vivid these inks are. These VersaFine Clair inks. I love them. So beautiful. We're getting closer and closer to our little getaway, which we very much need. We haven't had a vacation since COVID. So, goodness knows my sweetie pie and I both deserve it. He kept his little company running through that pandemic, and so many companies did not survive. And his family business, which his father started over 40 years ago, he kept it alive and going. Very proud of him. His hard work, keeping it going. There we go. I'll put it in between so you'll get a little hint of what it's going to look like. And then I have a big decision to make because I have 5 signatures. So I'm going to have either 2 of the acorn color and 3 green, or else I'm going to have 3 of the green color and 2, or wait, no, I just said that, didn't I? You know what I mean. All right, so, oh, I think I've made up my mind already. Oh, but that green looks so nice with the green inside. Oh, let me move this. I don't want to get ink on the front of that cover. So imagine that these are like this in there. And then this is on the outside. Oh, that's going to look so nice. And there's greens there. And she's got red in her dress with a bit of red there. Ah, okay, I'm happy. I'm a happy journal maker. Wowee, I can feel my muscles from all that inking and tearing, but I can also feel my dried up fingernails. I better go downstairs and put oil on those fingers. Wowee. All right, I'm out of here. Holy crow, 35 minutes of tearing paper. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. No sneeze. That can't be good luck. Anyhow, so now comes the big decision. Do I do 3 greens and 2 acorns? Or 2 greens and 3 acorns? Do I like the green behind her? Or do I like the acorn behind her? I think the acorn brings out her little dress. Where's the long? This one's wider. I like the green. Well, we'll see. You'll find out the next time we get together. Take care, and we'll talk soon. Bye. Thanks for joining me.